call guys garbage and trash and whatnot. I'm like, use a different word. They're athletes. They're humans. We've had this discussion
They're not
before.
garbage people.
I know. But when he said that Austin Reaves sucked, he's exactly right.
Oh, you're okay with that one.
But it's appropriate. He did. He stunk. He was bad. He was absolutely bad.
Historically so.
Really?
Yeah. As far as shooting percentage in a playoff
18%?
game, it was historically bad.
Yeah.
I think of, look, the fact that the Lakers lost by nearly 20 points, not a surprise. The fact that LeBron James was pretty good, not a surprise. The fact that the Thunder are really good defensively, not a big surprise. I think the one thing that made you go, ay, was how noticeably bad Reaves was last night. That was not just, he had an off night. It's like, they were killing him on one end, and he couldn't throw a rock in the ocean on the other.
He looked like he was outclassed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing why we're harping on it, not just because of that. I mean, they did it to everyone outside of LeBron. No one had a good game outside of LeBron.
I thought Rui was okay.
Rui was okay. I mean, okay, but it's
Yeah.
not going to help you. But the reason we're harping on him is you're getting ready to make him your second highest paid guy on the team.
Yeah.
Does it look like he should be the second highest paid guy at this point?
No, it doesn't.
Right.
And I look, we can come up with a scenario where, hey, listen, it wasn't as bad as it looked because Oklahoma City has the best defense in the league. Okay. It's not as bad as it looked because he's only come back and played a small handful of games since a very serious injury. Yeah, okay. Hey, they were able to key on him because there's no Luka Doncic. Yeah, okay. All of those things are true, but you know what else is true? He was terrible last night. Like, and at some point, you have to be responsible for your terribleness. At some point, it's because you played bad and what they forced you into and not just circumstances. And it feels like with him in particular, there's always it wasn't as bad as it looked because of this, and that. It's like, it was as bad as it looked last night. I'm not saying he needs to go out there and shoot 60% from the floor. No. But that was rough,
but it's
man.
just one game. It's just one game.
Yeah.
If you woke up from a coma, you might have that, like, he's not good, but he has the chance to bounce back in game 2.
He absolutely does, and he really needs to, DeMarco. But at the same time, this isn't just one game. If you go back and you look at his playoff experience, he has been bad in most of the games he's had a couple of good ones. There's been some here and there, but for the most part, he has not had good numbers in the playoffs. He either is shooting poorly, or when he does shoot with a three-point ball really well, they lose that game. So it really doesn't work out as well as they want. For the most part, he's been somebody you can move around off his spot. He's a turnstile on defense, and he's not a good shooter. So this is something that is more than just he didn't have time off. He's just been bad in the playoffs.
If he has the same game, but he hits for 50%, this is a completely different conversation.
I couldn't agree more.
Now, but the result could be the same. Actually,
agreed.
could be worse. But
agreed.
But the conversation will be different.
Look, that the Lakers were outclassed by Oklahoma City, it's not a surprise, right? The Oklahoma City has better players than the Lakers do. They have more good players than the Lakers do. They have a better team than the Lakers do. They're the number 1 seed. They're the defending champs. They have the soon-to-be two-time MVP. That the Lakers lost is not anything other than, something would have had to really go haywire for the Lakers to win that game. But that does not explain why he was as bad as he was. Like, both of those things can be happening at the same time, and they're not necessarily connected. LeBron was fine.
Yeah.
LeBron looked pretty good. And quite frankly, I thought that the Lakers, with the exception of Reaves, they were okay. I don't think they got embarrassed. They kind of hung around for most of the night. Never really felt like they were threatening to win the game. But it also never felt like they were getting run over, with one exception. It felt like he was getting run over all night. And like you've said, this is the guy that they're getting ready to make a huge commitment to. And that
to beat the Thunder.
To be good in games like that.
Against them. Right.
And he wasn't. And to Greg's point, while this was the first one in this series, he was, and again, injury and all that stuff, he wasn't very good against the Rockets. He wasn't very good in playoff series in previous years, with the exception of, was it Memphis, DeAndre?
Memphis, and that was a game where he had his I'm him moment. But besides that, it's like you go into the Minnesota Timberwolves series, and that's why everyone was really, really hoping to see a different side of Austin Reaves heading into this series, is because we understand he came back in that one game against the Rockets. He was going to struggle. We all came to the conclusion that he was most likely going to struggle in that game. But everyone's going to base his performance against Minnesota Timberwolves, where you had Jaden McDaniels hounding him all the way throughout the basketball court, and he was not able to get to the spots. And it translates into the same thing that we're seeing with OKC. They're throwing 2-3 different guys at him, and it's still the same results. Alex Caruso is bodying him up, pushing him around, trying to come around pick and rolls. He can't get to his spots. Kason Wallace is picking him up as soon as he crosses the half-court line. And the same thing when they throw Lou Dort. It's when he's the younger, athletic teams, he struggles. He only shot 2 free throws last night because he wasn't able to get downhill. He was not able to get to the spots.
He wasn't able to get around the guy that had him on the point of attack.
Right.
That it not much went right for him last night. And again, if he turns around tomorrow and looks more like Austin Reaves, it's like, okay, that was a really bad night. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah.
But if it happens again or something similar to that, and I don't know how many of those would have to happen. We might only be able to get 3 more, considering what we looked. Maybe the Lakers can find a way to win a game, maybe 2. We'll see. But there are more and more data points about if I'm getting ready to give this guy the bag that I'm feeling less and less ecstatic about. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but
right. I think the check's been cut anyway.
I think so too. But my goodness, you just don't feel good about it.
Here's what's worse than a sweep, and I just had me thinking about this because I think a sweep is possible.
I do too.
You might not win a quarter, not one. You know what I mean? You may not even put a sweat into that.
Let me ask you this: if let's say you get 3 more like you got last night, and put Reaves in a side for a second,
they're not playing their best basketball yet.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah,
I didn't think so either. Like, let's say the Lakers lose all 4 of these games by around 15 points, somewhere between 15 and 20. That they're not blowed out, but they're also not particularly competitive. That feels about where this series should land. But if that happens and Reaves is bad,
right,
then it's like uh-oh.
Well, that's the other part. So if you're management, you're going to the head coach and asking, hey, look, why is Austin Reaves underperforming in the postseason?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is what we drew up. The plan is sound. He just can't get to it. Like, we had this plan, but see, he gets knocked over here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm giving him what I think he needs to be successful. He just can't execute, which would make me go, hold on that deal for a hot minute.
That's what his game is, though. His game is getting downhill, is getting to the paint and making pretty wild shots. But the way that the Oklahoma City defends, they don't let you in there. They're bigger, they are quicker, and they are younger, and they're just a good defensive team all the way around. Every single guy, 1 through 15.
Maybe we're doing it wrong.
Yeah, and so for him to be able to even get into the paint to be the guy that he is going to be very difficult. They are not going to let him in.
Maybe we're doing it wrong, and we're trying to base this off playing against them.
But that's who's going to be there.
Because they do this to everyone.
Fair enough, and I think that's a good point to bring up. But if you're a really terrific offensive player, like we think that he might be, excuse me, you're going to have to do it against really good defensive players. You're going to have to do it against very good defenders. That you're not going to draw the Sacramento Kings in the playoffs. You're not going to get the Memphis
Utah
Grizzlies,
Jazz.
the Utah. Like, you're going to have to go up against San Antonio. You're going to have to go up against Minnesota. You're going to have to go up against Oklahoma City. You're going to have to go play against a rough and tumble Houston Rockets team. Like, this is if we're going to give you this, I can't have you only be good when it's easy.
No,
I need you to be good when it's very hard.
LeBron's had his duds. Everybody has their duds. He has his 8-point game. You know, everybody has a dud here and there. It's all about what he does next.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to be really, really good the next time out to get us to forget that.
Does it not put another brick in the wall for you based on what we saw last year and some of the years before that?
Oh, absolutely. Before he came back, I said you could fudge the numbers. If he doesn't make it back in the postseason, I'd be willing to say, I would guess he'd be better, but now he's proven it. Who didn't you say that?
What?
I think you did say that. He should not play in the postseason because it can only hurt himself.
I would think that his agent
it's happening.
I would think that his agent would be somebody to say something like that. Hey, if you're not 100% and you're going to hurt your money right now.
Athletes don't think like that.
No. I mean,
athletes are going to play. But you said that the check is already written out.
Oh, I would bet dollars to donuts that check, that contract is already written.
All right, so think about it. If he has another 3 bad games and this is what he looks like, you think they're going to go to him and say, hey, all right, we want to still give you the max based on everything we've seen from you and your time as a Laker in the postseason. We want to give you a max amount of money.
I would
where's
bet
he
the
gonna
deal
go?
is done, but any him and Hoff from the Lakers, you probably lose him.
But okay,
Yeah.
where's he gonna go? So I know Trav, like
Somebody will pay him.
Who is going to pay him besides somebody like Brooklyn, Utah? What's another
Somebody
bad?
who
Washington.
Somebody who needs a scorer and doesn't need his defense.
But do you think that Austin Reaves will want to go to a team like that?
Sure, why not?
Because he's going to want to be on a contending team. He's
Like
going to want to.
they got Wells Fargo in Washington D.C. too.
Well,
Right.
I'm assuming
If he's going to go for the money, then sure. But if he wants to win, which he seems like that type of guy.
Oh, I was assuming anybody that would want him as kind of gravy would be a contender.
So no,
Like, all we need is
The teams with cap space are not close to winning.
Right.
Most of them.
Everybody else is over the
You don't
cap.
think a contender would want him?
No, I don't know if they could fit him in.
If they could
for,
pay him.
for
Okay,
what it
that's
would
fair.
be.
Okay.
But I think that the conversation is interesting because I'm not. I think we're all on the same page of he's coming back and he's going to get his money.
Mhm.
And I think that generally speaking, we're all more or less comfortable with that. But the more bad basketball you see, the more you're kind of like, hey, man, do we at least need to get together, huddle up again, and talk about this one more time? Because one, to your point, DeMarco, and I think you're right, you could just go, look, he had the worst night of his life. Let's see what happens next. What if it happens again? What if it happens a third time? What if it happens now it's like this isn't just a one-off. Like, are we really sure we want to do this? Are we really sure that he can be the guy to be the Robin to Luca's Batman? Is that we're really signing up for that with this guy? That's the question.
I only have a football perspective on this. Is you got to be careful paying guys you love great money.
Right.
Like that should be reserved for great players, not for guys that you love. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Sua's comp of Jordan Poole was really interesting.
Perfect. Yes.
That's a great comp.
It really is. This idea of, look, do you like him? Is he a good player? Yes. Are we going to get long-term money, long-term commitment, like with all this? And if you're wrong, it could be a real problem.
Can I just add on to that Jordan Poole, because it is a good comp, because the Golden State Warriors, after that year where they won that finals matchup against the Boston Celtics, Jordan Poole was a critical part of that as far as his offense. But the pieces around him, and you have Steph Curry, you have Draymond Green, you have Klay Thompson, you have Andrew Wiggins. Like, look at those pieces around him where Jordan Poole was able to thrive. So then you look in, after that, when Jordan Poole ended up getting the bag and got good money, he went to the Wizards. And to the Wizards to have to offload from you and send you to New Orleans, where now he's in a place where he's on DNPs for the New Orleans Pelicans. You don't want to end up in that situation.
No.
And I think that's why the contract situation with Austin Reaves is really confusing, because you got to have more around him as well.
I think that I'm going to take this to the place where I'm most comfortable real quickly here. And because I think the Warriors are an interesting comparison, because it reminds me a lot of kind of what the Dodgers are doing. Got a bunch of great players, got a bunch of really smart people, and we're going to give the most to some guys, not because they're the best, but because we can and because we think that we got enough around them to have it work out. Like, think Kyle Tucker. You can give Kyle Tucker $60 million a year. And don't get me wrong, Kyle Tucker's an all-star, but Kyle Tucker's not an MVP candidate. He never has really been an MVP candidate in that way. So you put him on the Dodgers, everything's fine, because he just needs to be a good player. It's fine. Shohei will get the hits. Mookie will get the hits. Freddie Freeman will get the hits. And then occasionally Kyle Tucker can kind of sprinkle in and do what he does. And it's extra. It's bonus. But if you put that guy on a team where it's like, hey, you're the second best guy on our team, and you have to be every single night, it's different.
Right.
It's different. And that's what they're asking Reaves to do.
That's a good point.
Okay, so look, just one last baseball thing. So let's say it's an arbitration case. In arbitration, you get one side takes one side, and the other side, the player takes another side. So let's say the Lakers have him at $30 million, and Austin Reaves is saying, I want $45 million. A judge then arbitrates and chooses which side. Which side is the judge going to choose?
After this game, 30.
Right. So that's basically where he's at right now. I do not think that with the way that he's playing, and if he continues to play this way, they can or should offer the amount of money that they actually have.
He'll bounce back in game 2,
you
and
think so?
And they'll get blown out again. But his numbers will improve.
I hope so for his sake. I hope so for all of our Lakers' sake. Because I think he's incredibly popular. He's well liked. He's hard. All of those things. But if he doesn't, then we're in a totally different spot.
I'm sure he's having the same conversation we're having. And game 2, he'll be much better.
Because them winning the series is kind of out the window. Like that it's very, very unlikely. What
did I say? It looked like watching the Discovery Channel, watching the guy being slowly killed by a boa constrictor. It's like There's some good moments. You almost had it, and then it's just
then it
gets
got
tighter.
your neck, and then it got your chest.
But holding SGA to 18 points, that's nothing to sneeze at.
It's not.
Yes, there's some good stuff there.
And they nearly lost by 20. That's the point. Like, a lot did go right for the Lakers. Like, they did do a good job on SGA. They didn't get blown out to like they did in OKC, whatever, a month or so ago, where it's 30 points at the half. What was it, 7 or 8 at the half? It was a basketball game.
Yeah.
But it was also even with that, they
5, 4, 5. You lose by 20.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
That's how
and
it goes.
It escalated very, very quickly.